Trying to push the boundaries of style and design, you have to keep an open mind. Projects come about in all types of different ways, sometimes new, sometimes old. In my line of work, every day is a new opportunity. I get a call from Jeremy. He lives on the other side of the country, and he's saying he recently acquired one of my creations. You made it.
Yes, long trip.
How's it going, man?
How you doing?
Man, you are loaded down.
Yeah.
Hi.
It's a
Good
trip.
to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, too.
Man, I recognize that silhouette.
Yeah?
I thought it went to Arizona, but you're in Missouri.
Yes. She's been around the block a few times. When I first saw the car, believe it or not, I found it on Facebook Marketplace, and I thought for sure, like, that's definitely a car that needs put back together.
Let's see what's going on under here.
All right, don't get nervous.
I was born not nervous. I know the way cars go. I've sold so many projects that a month later, they don't look anything like what they used to. Oh, wow. They didn't even paint it. It went to a paint shop.
Oh, yeah?
I thought that was the first thing you would do with it.
Well, I'm definitely glad they didn't.
Nice. Pulling this cover off, I didn't know what to expect. That's the car I remember. This car and I have quite a history together. This is one of the first show cars I built for myself. I called it the Space Junkie. From the start, I was just trying to prove something. I wanted to go all out on this project, everything full custom. Then I had the great idea of tearing it all apart and redesigning the body.
What could you possibly want to do to it?
I'm the guy that jumps off cliffs. It's that simple. I'm like, overboard. Once I took the body off, it went out the door to the first bidder. I thought this body was long gone, and here it is, knocking on the door again. It's like a whole new opportunity. When you said you found it wherever, I was expecting like the Ed Roth story. Oh, we found it and it was a dumpster
Right,
at a
right,
freaking liquor
yeah.
store.
Well, what do you think? You think we can do something with it?
Oh, 100%. I want to put it back together for sure. I mean, I got some criticism for taking it apart the first time.
I bet you did. Roll in a show car and take it apart?
Right, exactly.
When Ian told me he wanted to do it, I was ecstatic. This was a screensaver on my computer way back in the day because I thought it was cool. And so now, all of a sudden,
Wow.
here it is. It's in my possession, and I
Interesting.
can't believe it. I'm glad you're excited as I am.
Yeah.
That silhouette of that chop and the section, and
It's pretty
man,
radical.
it's maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but you know, 2 lumps for me. I'll drink it. I figured that this is its home, and this is where it needs to be.
Cool.
And you're the guy for the job.
Space Junkie 1.5. Everything you liked about the old car, and then just a little more something. Let's get it in the shop and kind of do an inventory and see what we're dealing with.
Okay.
The thing about this vehicle is it's like it got kind of short-ended. As developed as it was, I always wanted so much more from it. Well, the good news is you got stuff, like the car body. The bad but not so bad is we're gonna have to get a lot more. Detail on this frame, I really like it. Whoever was doing this, they replicated these cup shapes. That's what the original one was. I mean, we got a lot of potential here for sure. My favorite part of every project is the first 30 seconds. You know, that moment of inspiration. I spent so much time staring at this car in its first incarnation. You know, now I get to revisit it with fresh eyes. When I built this thing, you know, it was just a different time in my life, different frame of mind, you know? And it's like, it still holds up today, but a little older, a little wiser. You know, I'm not saying I regret anything, but I think we could really push this thing, like, into the future.
Well, you act like it's no big deal. I mean,
No,
you
I've been
think?
down this road. I mean, that's what I do, man. Time to get this thing back together.
It is, it's a basket case. It's a group of parts that need assembled somehow and put together in a nice little neat box to fit in the nice little spot that everything has to fit. Do you think you have a game plan, or do you?
I got a million ideas, man. Just let's roll with it.
So we're not gonna like draw it out or take some notes?
No,
You got
no.
paper and pen?
Nah,
we can
don't-
take notes.
You don't even want to see how I draw a line.
I do have a surprise for you in the back of the truck.
That's why it's sitting so low. You got some junk in the trunk.
What do you think of this?
Oh, wow. That looks like exactly what I started with. I don't know where he got this engine. Somehow he saw the photos and got what was there. Wait a second, what? Is this like some mini truck and stuff?
Yeah.
With the bed dancing?
That's next. Let me turn on the music.
As conservative as Jeremy appears, you could tell he's got some tricks up his sleeve. Now it's starting to get interesting. That is freaking cool.
Yeah, I figured he would like that out of the stuff that he likes.
There it is, man. Put some wires to it and start her up. The whole time thinking, what are we gonna do about the engine? And there it is. And it's a runner.
Yes, I thought you'd like that. I know he's thinking hard about this, which is, I mean, that's like icing on the cake. If he's thinking, that means he's dreaming something wild up, and that's all we could all hope for.
I know you gotta hit the road, but I'm gonna get started this afternoon, man.
Hey.
I got ideas.
Man with a plan.
It's kind of like visiting an old friend. When I took this thing apart, it was strictly out the door, right? I think I did that. I don't even see that anymore. There it is, back on the operating table. I think the one thing in my wish list would be to make it less of a show car or trailer queen and more of a streetable vehicle. I barely fit. Johnny Jalopy helped me with the other chassis. He barely fit. You know, my number one goal for this, right off the jump, a lot more room inside. Now, I have some ideas, but I gotta ride that line. You know, I wanna make it drivable, but still look really cool. The first thing I wanna do is create a new chassis, little twist on the old design, and a few improvements. I'm gonna use 2x4 for a little more room, but I'm gonna put it on its side. I think the small improvement will make a real difference. You know, it'll be the same look from the outside, but the interior room will be way better for it. You see this detail of all the little cups that are welded in. It's pretty labor intense, so it's gonna take a while. The idea here is to keep the theme of the original vehicle intact. So it's like as if it was like twin brothers or sisters from the start, and how they each accessorize themselves differently. So it's the same thing, as if, you know, this thing had another life, which it does. So. It's my custom lifting device. This isn't a big structural thing, so I want to mount them on the underside of the tubing inside the channel so that it appears a little bit deeper. Drill the holes, weld the thing in, and repeat. The one difference already from the original chassis design was the rails were sitting like this. Now they're flat. And in addition, in the front of the car, we're gonna have two cup holders, right and left. This is America, and we love our cups. This car's got two. So just like this rocker panel here comes back and then jogs off, I'm gonna have to do the same with the chassis because I want that to be flowing right through. At this point, it's purely visual. You know, I want to nail the look of this thing and reinforce as necessary. The thing about these really low cars that you can't get away from is the drive shaft being inside the car, literally. You know, most cars you'll see a little hump through the floor, so this is that little hump magnified. This is a really tricky part of the car, and that's why I gotta think outside the box. The original design was purely aesthetic, and it hindered the space incredibly. You know, I'm trying to go with the simplest space-conserving design. You know, something like a modified 3-link. I've got these link arms. You see them all the time. They're adjustable, 4-link suspension stuff. So I took 2 of these, I put them in a tube bender and bent them, and I joined them in the center. They're not fully welded yet because I don't want to melt any kind of plastic out of this heim joint. So the idea with this is in the center, facing forward. There's always some kind of cross link to keep the axle centered in the car, and that's what this does also. It can't move side to side. It can only do that or that. I've got theories I can go on for days. The real deal is in the test. The only way to see if it's gonna work is to put it together. A little short on hardware, so sometimes I'll use a drill bit. Improvising with sheet metal is one thing, but improvising with engineering is quite another. You have a lot of moving parts to consider. That's basically the arrangement of that. I think I'm gonna test it right now and then put the airbags in. The true proof is in what happens when this thing's in motion. If something goes wrong, if it binds, it explodes. The axle drops, effectively raising the car. And see how the link arms go parallel? So that's completely unweighted. That's exactly what I was hoping to see. As simple as it looks, it took a lot of figuring in my head, and I could see now through the range of motion, it's gonna work fine. That's probably about ride height. See where these bars are pretty level? And then it allows the axle to really twist, see that? When you come into a driveway, it's got a lot of motion. I'm really glad I gotta change this all up, take a few risks, because that's the thing. If you're gonna make it better, you gotta step outside of what already happened. I think this is the hot ticket. It's gonna be all right. Next challenge is getting the airbags set in there. I wanna do something unique with them as well. So the standard installation would be right on top of the axle. You see that all the time. You make a bridge, and that's how they live. It's kind of in the way of things, right? I don't wanna see it up there, do you? Nope. The bag's gonna live right inside here. So being ahead of the axle, it's gonna offer a little more lift just because it's closer to the pivot point, and also it's real discreet. Another benefit of this airbag design is the brackets that hold the bags will act as a truss structure for this third link. So, I'm always thinking how to simplify and strengthen stuff, especially with suspensions. Like butter. If you want to see a normal suspension, look somewhere else. This is full experimentation garage. I mean, you didn't think I was gonna try something normal or average, did you? I got the rear chassis and suspension all finalized. I also did some sheet metal work, and it's looking good. The goal from the jump was to get more room in this thing, and I think I'm already on the right path. I really want to get the front of the chassis fitted and then put the front axle in as well. Once the car's on the ground, we'll do the final test of the suspension and airbags, but as of this moment, we got a few noses snooping around. They don't even know I'm working on the car. Usually the car's on the ground, so they're trying to find the car. It's up here. It's not in the cabinet. I think he's just having a little recollection, a little deja vu. Look at that, he just collapsed. You remember this car, man, right? When you first showed up. My dog, Dude, has been around since the start. When I first got Dude, I was working on this car. I was doing the whole front suspension redo. He liked something, he stayed. He used to have so much passion in the car building. Now, no, you just want to lounge. The strangest thing is that he turned into this shop inspector that would critique my work. Whoa. He's got good visibility. You can see there's a lot of shoulder room in here. He's actually got his gangster lean on, so it's a cruiser. Pretty relaxed. The interior seemed to pass the test with flying colors, so now we're on to the front. Besides the extra room in the interior, I'm making some progress on the front of the chassis. I want to make it a little bit stronger, so I'm coming up with this truss shape in here. It'll add a lot more rigidity to it. My challenge is to create a front motor mount right now, and then put the hood on and see how everything's gonna come together. This engine is a straight 8. It's almost twice as long as a V8 engine. The engine mount here was a very simple structure. The real challenge is going to be these two frame horns. The way they interact with the hood is of critical importance. So here is where we deviate from the plan. The way these frame rails are set up is a very simple design in that he just kicked them in and rounded the front. I like this detail, but he started to just make it kind of angled in. I want to make it come around. Because of the end result I'm looking for, it's going to require a little bit of unorthodox thinking. It's going to be a lot of labor, but the result will be worth it. So you may have been asking yourself, how the heck is he going to bend a 2x4-inch rectangle tube on that tight a radius? And the answer is, I'm not going to bend it. I'm going to segment it and re-weld it. That's what all that cutting was about. The old lobster tail trick. I'm gonna weld nice and hot over all these joins and then grind them out later. The lobster tail trick has been used before on many occasions, so it translates perfectly to this chassis design. Ultimately, the frame rail will be a compound curve, so we got the curve, we're just looking for the compound. The old spray can on the lobster tail trick. The oldest technique in the book. Just a lot of work for a little result, but that's all a part of building a show car. The whole thing with this chassis design was like organic. It's got to work around the hood, make it look like the painted part is coming through the mechanical part. Now you see the difference between your standard issue and your refined edition. Your curving, your swooping. I think it's going to look extra special. There you have it, 2 very fine bent frame rail ends. That's the call, that looks perfect. I'll duplicate that on the other side. Front end is taking shape, and I got some plans to keep this train rolling. I got that car off the table and brought the table over here. I'm partnering with Speedway on this project. They have kits for everything. So I have an air suspension kit, I have 4-wheel disc brake kit, I've got all the steering linkage, it's all brand new. And I just chose what I would have always wanted to use on this car. And here it is, it's like Christmas morning. All these new parts will allow me to build this car as I've always wanted, a real driver. There's no getting around it. Before it was art, now it's a road machine. Uh-oh, here comes trouble.
Ian, what have you done?
Yeah, things look a little different than you saw it last time.
Yeah, we got pretty much a full chassis underneath there, huh? This is looking awesome. Mocking up that front suspension and having that chassis complete, like it's there, man.
Yeah.
It's sitting on the ground.
I showed Jeremy everything that's been going on. He's really happy about it. There's no shortage of things to do, so it's a perfect time for some extra hands in the shop. I have an idea about the wheel and tire combo. I don't know what you were thinking, but let's just get this thing so it'll roll forward and back like right now.
All right, I can't wait.
I didn't know Jeremy from anyone. He just called me and said, he builds custom cars and he has one of my projects. So in getting to know him a little bit better, it turns out that he has a few really creative builds under his belt, and him and his father have a company where they do a lot of specialized stainless steel work and car building.
I've got a shop there in Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. I eat, breathe this stuff. It's gasoline in the veins.
That's the thing in working with a client. Some guys are just the idea guys, I'm not mentioning any names. Other guys can get in there and work with you. Always something. It's never smooth sailing. That's why they call it custom. It ain't easy. With this Ford axle and the tie rod being where it is, it's different than these Model A wishbones. I mean, you always run into some situation where you maybe have to heat them, but these are big castings. We're not gonna be able to do that. The reason this becomes an issue is the lower you make a car, the more things get stacked up in a smaller space. When you have a lifted vehicle, you got all this room in here. When you lower it, everything's on top of each other. When faced with an issue, one of my first go-tos is try it upside down, flip it around. I actually learned that from an old gentleman I was working with for years. Steer it. Every time he's like, turn it upside down. What? Sure enough, it still holds. So it was designed to go in upside down. Look at that.
They just weren't thinking.
It's absolutely perfect. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're way closer. The first step is to make a spacer so I can weld this thing together.
Are you worried about the integrity, the strength,
Well, integrity is my new middle name.
Yeah. What about strength?
Well, strength is built in, baby. You don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to transfer that into this fabrication. Roussel's Strength and Integrity Suspension Services.
Strength,
Strength.
integrity.
That's it. It's like military training. Radius rods are welded super solid. They look a little funky because there's just a lot of material that's been deposited. Once they're ground down and smooth, they're gonna look like castings. Perfect. So yeah, all this looks good. Now we're steering. We're not hitting anything. It's perfect. Minor adjustments is what it's all about. I actually have the original rims and tires for this.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
They were on my Model A that I'm building. I forgot they're all the way in the back of the container. So now that this is back, I think they should go on here.
It's been in the back of my mind what's gonna go on with those wheels and tires, and here's Ian coming from the back, you know, coming from the relics. There she is. It's like holding history.
There's some things that just you gotta keep, you know, you never know. Why not try it out? Look at that.
Right.
Big 20-inch rims, massive
Oh,
calipers.
yeah.
That's pretty tough looking. The only car you have to put the floor jack into the back. See, that's what I remember. That's what I'm talking about. The tires are just above the roof, and the fronts are just like way out there. I don't know why I took it apart. It's a great looking car. Oh, there was so much that I wanted to change and never had the opportunity to. You know, and here we are, right in the center of it.
So now I know how you felt when you built it the first time. Like, it's a wow moment right now.
I mean, that's the thing, you know, before it was all dressed up, right? It was more like a custom,
Yeah.
you know, with the wood spoke spinners and the white wall tires. But now I think as a driver, more like a hot rod, you know, it's all business. The tires weren't the only thing I found digging around in the storage. Yeah, here, check this out. You know, I was in the archives, and look, this is the original sign that I showed it with.
No way.
This is the original sketch, the first sketch I ever made of the thing. This build had way more premeditation and way more man hours than anything else I've ever built. I drew this like 15 or 18 years ago, like a long time ago. I only showed this a couple times, but George Barris, when he was still alive, awarded it his Medal of Honor in the car show.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. I
That's
only
pretty
showed this-
prestigious right there.
Yeah. This car was just being shown at Barris's show in Culver City. I didn't even have an entry number. And he was like, what the heck is this thing? That's my pick. Now that the tires are on, let's plug in this air and see it roll around. Let's cut the tack welds off the front axle, and I'll get this thing plumbed up with some hose. Ready for action?
I think so.
Let's see what breaks. Oh, nothing. Try the front, see what that does. Got a little hop.
It's the only way I dance. Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
effortless.
Effortless. All I could say is the experimentation is a success. I mean, this chassis is pretty much dialed in, you know. One main issue is the lack of sunroof.
That's a big hole.
Yeah. I have some untested ideas in development that just might solve our problem. Galpin Autosports puts on an awesome car show once a year. I wanted to take Jeremy for some inspiration while he's here, and I also got a couple other ideas.
Yeah, they got a flavor for every taste bud here.
They have everything here, you name it, from off-road to lowriders to race cars to concept cars to show cars to supercars, cars everywhere.
Wow.
That's intense. I don't know what the heck this is. All I could say is it's got 4 engines.
Anybody that's a car enthusiast could go through there and spend all day. That's more your style there in the back.
This'll get you to the store. Looking at the off-road stuff, it shows the fabrication, front row and center. You know, it's all about suspension design and travel, etc. There's some mean machines here. Yeah, see, that's a huge influence on me too. It's just, you know, anything that's crazy, right? So when do you see a car all kicked off to the side
Right.
with all the paint and everything hopping around? Totally intense, and just all the detail, etc. It's just nuts. Lowriders always bring the flavor, but of course they're doing the suspension tricks as well, just in a totally different style. So this is the Church of Roth. It's where we come on Sundays to pay our respect. Look at them all. We are now in the Temple of Coolness. The coolest of cool, in my opinion. These are the first VW trikes, and this is one of the last ones. He drove this to Alaska.
What?
Yeah, look. I hate to be the Roth fanboy, but that's just where I'm at. For whatever reason, you know, the Rat Fink character and his style of building, it was like no limits. This thing was like a hovercraft.
Spacey.
Yeah. This was his first hot rod, and you could see he went crazy after that. These are the cars that inspired my career, you know. It's made me willing to take that leap of faith in design, you know, just to get a little bit out of the box. And then this one was something he threw away. He cut it up and put it in the trash, and his employee put it back together. That's so cool. I almost forgot there's an idea I have, and I want to pitch it to Jeremy. The main reason I brought you out here, you know, I'm a Volkswagen aficionado, we may say. So I was thinking all of my cars have a piece of Volkswagen in them, and I think a piece of your car should be Volkswagen as well. Sometimes the best way to get across the idea is a bit of show and tell. Look at the sunroofs on these. It's the classic VW ragtop. Why not do that? I mean, you got a big hole in the roof, put a fabric rollback sunroof on it.
I dig that.
It's
Did they make them an extra large?
Well, I'll have to make it. That's what I'm saying. But you can see how simple it is. There's just two rails, similar to what's in the car already.
Instead of the slide? Is it a slide?
Yeah. It's like the trick thing to have on your Bug. You could go full convertible, but these have a real following also. This one's an even better example, though. See how big this sunroof is? It's almost the contour of the Space Junkie.
Nice.
Sometimes the validity of Volkswagens is a hard sell to, you know, hot rodders, but he fell right in line. He's like, oh yeah, that's cool. Now I just gotta make it happen. This sunroof design is right in line with our whole MO for this project. That is update and improve. You know, the other sunroof was this aluminum retractable thing. It was kind of noisy, kind of rattly. Since we're building this to drive the way we've always wanted it, I say sliding ragtop, canvas, vinyl, whatever.
I dig it. After I saw that yesterday and saw how it was set up, like, it's pretty slick.
That's the great thing about working with Jeremy, is there's no hard sell. He's just really open to my ideas. Thing is, the VW won't fit this. We'll have to make it from scratch. Never built one before, but I've been thinking about it. In the drawing, remember, I had this nice, like the side profile. So this, I feel like, will follow a more round roof line. I'm really glad that I unearthed this old sketch of the car, because it really rehashes this idea I had of the line of the sloping roof. The big challenge here is going to be getting this framework to operate. I don't sew, right? So we'll need somebody to do that part. You can decide color or whatever later. Let's just do the metal work. Looking at the VW, studying it, I've been thinking about stuff, and you know, this is kind of how it developed. It's like, okay, well, we want little wheels, and those are pretty small, and I'm the guy who just takes what I have laying around, right? So the smallest wheels I could find were not skateboard wheels. They're the bearings inside.
Yeah, he definitely comes at it from left field, and he just holds up a skateboard. I mean, what's that mean?
So my thinking was you'd have a bracket like this with two small wheels, right? So this is the bottom surface. I got all this stainless steel rod. You know, we put a bow in it. That sets dead center there, and that way it never tips over. The bow always stays vertical. The downside is these didn't fit in the rails. These are just too big.
Oh, just so close.
So then I got to thinking, little wheels. Where do you get wheels smaller than this? So I go to the supply store and I find on a desk drawer or whatever,
yeah,
they have these wheels in them. Look, is that not what I just was laying out?
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
All I have to do is purchase them. I really like creating my own stuff, but sometimes it helps to just lay down a few bucks and get on your way. You know, I really hope this works. They fit just about perfect.
Nice. If I was describing Ian to a buddy of mine that was also a car guy, I would call it almost like a controlled chaos. Like, he might look like he's like going off, you know, AWOL, but he comes back and there it is. It's a controlled, nice little, this is what I was doing.
Good news is I get to cruise and you get a sunroof. It's
oh,
perfect.
Lord.
So I'll see you never.
I guess I'll get to work on this.
The first step in the process is to put a slight bend in these stainless steel rods. You know, I want there to be some tension so the fabric doesn't flatten it out and also enhance the curvature of the roof line. As I'm just about done welding, yank that ground off so I could drop it in the bucket without melting these wheels. If there's one thing you gotta know about welding when there's plastic around is don't heat it up.
And out.
So this is the quick, cool technique. That's that. So the theory would be that this just slides in and operates. Pull it forward. That's the deal right there. Proof is in the operation, you know, smooth as silk is what we're looking for. I'm always looking to offer the full envisioning experience. So right now I just want to lay out some tape and really show Jeremy how the fabric will behave once it's attached to these bows and folded up.
That right there just mimicked that line on your drawing.
Exactly. Yeah, see, now the roof has a contour. That's perfect. You know, just a little bit, definitely not flat.
Looks good.
We still need to figure out the upholstery, but the mechanics of it are there. I call this a success. Very simple, and totally cool. I'm waiting on a transmission I ordered also from Speedway.
It's gonna be nice.
Everything about this project's coming together really cool. It's definitely an enhanced version of what was. The next big mission is to get this drivetrain updated and in the car. Let's see what happens next. Project's coming together. We got the show, it's looking good, now we need the go. I love the idea of the straight 8, but you got no transmission to put the power to the wheels.
I don't know where it went.
So I got that 350 Chevy transmission from Speedway. I started with a transmission cover, but I want to get the engine in and the drive shaft, everything in place before we finalize all the sheet metal. This engine's a key element in bringing the look of this whole thing back together, but it's not as simple as it was the first time. Great ideas also lead to problems. So we got a great engine, we got a great transmission, and one of the problems is like, how do you mesh them?
Yeah, the puzzle piece doesn't quite fit together yet, right?
Exactly. That Chevy bell housing is so much bigger, it'll never bolt up to this without a significant amount of machine work and engineering. But check this out. Transmissionadapters.com. On the shelf, they have a Chevy transmission to Pontiac straight 8 adapter kit. Look at this.
So even this obscure, like a straight 8.
Yes, I called them and he's like, yeah, we got that. They got this crankshaft adapter, their own custom flex plate, and a brand new mini starter. They made their own puzzle piece to fit these together.
Now that's crazy.
Jeremy's a car builder in his own right. He wanted to be involved, you know, get his hands dirty on this project. He's told me since the beginning he's wanted to take this back to his shop for the final details. This gives me the creative ability with the heavy fabrication to really nail those points. Back at Jeremy's shop, he'll focus on the final details of the chassis paint, the interior fit up, the wiring, etc. Everything lines up, as it should. Sometimes the stars align. I get to do the transformation I was hoping to see, and Jeremy gets the car he's always wanted. Wow, that was almost too easy. Let's put the body and the nose on. You know, you can see my little crutch design holding up the roof truss. Title of the house says built in 1940. This garage is made out of railroad ties and telephone poles. I don't want it to come down. It's pretty charming.
It's some Amish engineering, boy.
You can see it works. This transmission is overall, in every direction, larger than the original unit. Hopefully, this will fit under the dashboard. It actually fits. You know, that transmission is big.
Yeah.
And it still fits under the body and the dashboard. Look at that. With any luck, this big hole in the hood should fit that engine just right. You can see the hood design is set up to showcase the mechanics front and center, and that's where the next challenge begins. How do you feed this engine fuel and release the exhaust?
I like where your head's at.
Behind baggie number 1, open that up. These are Weber side drafts.
Nice.
They go on a lot of exotic cars. They're very well designed, and I thought they would look really cool in the wrong place on this car. That'll make some exhaust, but there's 2 more things. So I was thinking, Yeah, check that out.
You a cheerleader?
Exactly. No, that's my dunce cap. Before I start any project, I like to line up all the possibilities, take a look at them, and then get to work. I mean, anything goes. It would be a little more challenging to set them like that, but that's kind of cool too, eh? You know, take a minute and explore the possibilities. Whatever you like.
You can hear my gears turning?
Right.
You can hear it? You can hear that, yeah?
I've spent my time considering and figuring out all aspects of this car, so let's see what Jeremy ends up with. So, what do you want to do? I mean, it's time to build the cooler version than it was.
I know cooler's better. I still like the way they look sideways.
We have to determine the placement of the carbs. Once we decide that, we can begin to build the intake.
I really still like the way that it was set up originally. I mean, I know some of the nostalgic part of this car was how everything was set up that way. And if they're set up on these blocks and they're that high, you can still get to the spark plug wires and anything like that.
I like that idea. If you want to start on that rear one, I'll start on the front one and we'll fill in the spaces in between.
All right. I don't know if I'm qualified for this.
Yeah, we do have a little quality control course you have to get clearanced on. Is that how you're feeling?
I think so.
In the end, there'll be a few necessities included with this concept, but also some aesthetic stuff. You know, it's got to look cool as well as do its job. We got some busy work tying up this intake. The next part is the exhaust, and that's where it really comes alive. So we got a little carried away, don't you think? We started with just the carburetors. We ended up with these very elaborate arrangements. Now, we were on a roll, burning the midnight oil, and when that happens, you just gotta go on the roll.
So it was like a rampage. We just started and cut, slice, cut, weld, tack.
The big challenge with working with an inline-8 engine is that the intake and the exhaust are on the same side of the block. Kind of lends to an unbalanced look. Our design is going to really help to remedy that. We're going to use these railing parts I got from the metal supply. I like to use these on a lot of different exhausts because they give it a cool look, kind of like a super trap, but not really super, just kind of old school. Our building frenzy hasn't allowed us to see this fit up on the car. So it's like, enough planning, let's just get to it. I love the look of those carburetors. The whole concept of this design on the intake is that the carbs appear to be floating. That's the idea with the bracing between the tubes. So we had the hood on when we did the carburetors, but we did nothing about the trumpets and the exhaust. I didn't even think about that. The old build it without the hood on trick. We're hitting the exhaust bracket.
Is it?
Oh yeah, 100%. The proof is in the test fit. Clearly we got carried away. You know, next time you rebuild this car, leave the hood on before you redo the exhaust.
I don't think there should have to be a next time.
Third time's the charm. It's been around the block a few times. Actually, it's never even been around the block. This car has more miles on it than most show cars, and they've all been on a trailer. I think 1 or 2 trims on the bracket, and we're in business. Now, hopefully the exhaust fits. One difference between this and the original intake manifold was I built that right to the engine. Jeremy came up with a great idea to make it flow with the line of the hood opening a little better. Yeah, I really like how the manifolds do follow that paintwork. That's cool. The other one didn't do that.
Yeah, I need littler hands or something.
That's the spice of working with another fabricator, is I had some ideas, Jeremy's got a few, mix it all together and see what comes up. Let's drop it on the ground. I want to see it. Yeah, I thought that the building of the car was the hard part, but you know, this is not like changing the tire on your grandfather's pickup truck. How the heck did we do this last time? Somehow you got to get on top and lower it down gracefully. That's a pretty low car, sir. Seeing this car on its way back is really rewarding. You know, I think it's kind of like a parent-childhood scenario. You know, you send your kid out into the world and it goes through some stuff, you know, comes back with blue hair and piercings, I don't know. This car came back looking a little loose, a little worse for wear, But under our tender guidance, it's coming back.
Totally different now, right? Doors on, what?
Yeah, it's looking so good, I'm getting ideas.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, I can't wait to take this car apart again. Pretty nice car you got there, sir. Where can I get one of them? Just the fact of seeing this thing back on 4 wheels with a frame under it is really cool. The carburetor setup, just seeing the intake up a little higher, a little more aggressive. I love the new and improved exhaust. The fact that we stayed with the same rim and tire combo is a win for me, and the cloth sunroof is a nice, classy touch. That's the transformation, man, right there.
Looks nice.
Grab your seat, throw it in there. You know, I want to see how 2 full-size humans fit in this rig. Take me to the bar, Jeeves.
Yeah.
There's been so much talk on it. It's like, how do you fit in there? How do you drive it? Laying down? Yes.
Yeah, kinda,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, it's relaxing.
All jokes aside, there is way more room in this car than there ever was before. This car is literally like waist high, and the 2 of us are in there. We're not hitting shoulders. There's plenty of room to look around. I think it's gonna work.
Now I know why you build it. I like it. I like how everything looks right now. Almost like a monster mobile, you know what I mean? You got the engine that's sticking up almost right at the roof line.
The thing is, you know, you're looking at this, but you get into a parking lot, and you're just like, periscope up, check all around, and then you're cool again.
Yeah,
It's
you're
that simple.
incognito.
Jeremy's really pleased with this thing, but I got a surprise lined up. There's another vehicle that he really needs to see. We took a trip to SEMA, and it's packed. This is one of the largest automotive trade shows in the world. All the usual suspects are in attendance. Gene Winfield and Rich Evans joined me for a little meet and greet. You got Johnny Jalopy, Victor, and Jeremy all came out to see the main attraction at the booth, Space Junkie 2.0. It's never been displayed at a major car show, so it's just cool to see people's reactions.
Whoa, this is so wild to see this in person.
I wanted the full show car, and we donated the chassis from your car. See how the chassis developed from what it was to what we created?
Oh,
wanted
well, I
more.
mean, I see now why you tore the other car apart. To see that in person is a showstopper. I mean, people stop, they look, this is exciting.
So that's kind of the thing, you know, the story of Space Junkie's ever evolving. We got 1, 1.5, 2.0. So the ultimate goal will be to have these together at a show someday. This one's probably not going to change, but yours is still evolving.
Man, I tell you what, this has been an awesome journey, man. I greatly appreciate everything, and like even bringing me here to check out this.
Yeah.
This is awesome, dude.
Well, let's get yours together real soon.
Let's do it.
We'll bring it here next year.
Yes. This gives me the motivation to just push it home, you know, knock it out of the park with all the detail stuff and really dial it in.
Glad you made it
Right,
out,
man.
man.
Good to see you.
Here it is. You know, we kind of went underground for a while after we finished it. The other one is coming together really good. I wanted to bring this out and show Jeremy what we had done prior to the new project. So, you know, he's getting all the differences and the reason we did the paint a certain way, et cetera.
And you're kind of going the opposite, where this was chassis, new body, and that's old body, new
It's
chassis.
the flip side, right?
That, so it's
Exactly. Yeah.
the yin and the yang.
It's a whole flip-flop experience. The opportunity that Jeremy presented in rehabbing this whole project has been super cool. I won't be surprised at all if it comes back around again.